10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this January 28th, 2019 evening. And Chris, we are at the end of January already, which is stressing me out, because January is kind of like the relaxation month, and I feel like the relaxation is coming to a quick end.
Yeah, it's it's the beginning of the year, and W-9s, 1099s, or whatever are due, right?
Yeah.
And it's a new tax year, and and the Arnold's 5 weeks away.
Yeah, I know, but it January went very quickly. I found.
My goodness, it's insane. Well, it goes quicker in Florida than it does in New York anyway.
It's true. And also, I had my shoulder done, so I really couldn't. I haven't really gone anywhere. Like, I don't like go to the gym. I don't go to the car.
You go to the bagel store.
I go to the bagel store, right?
Staples.
The bagel store guy. When I go into the bagel store, I always get coffee and everything like that. I'll grab like a handful of Splenda, throw them in my pocket, so I have them for later. And the bagel store guy made a comment to me today about, he goes, "Oh, you going to take more Splendas?" I said, "Of course I am." First of all, I must go there like 5 days a week. I probably spend, a couple $1,000s a month in the store.
And what, he was worried that he was going to...
He was making like a crack, but it was serious, because then he said, there's a rabbi who comes.
I can one-up you at the bagel store.
He said, there's a rabbi who comes. He goes, there's a rabbi who comes in and he steals all my napkins. I said, like he was trying to make a joke, but it was really meant to like insinuate that I was taking the 5 packets of Splenda that I take when I go in there. Maybe I like 5 Splenda in my coffee. How about that? You put them out. That's what it's there for. You charge $2 for a cup of coffee. It probably costs 3 cents for the cup of coffee. So
yeah,
he's a nice guy, though. I like him.
I went to Mr. Bagel in South Portland, Maine, when I was on interferon.
Uh-huh.
And the bagel was, let's say it was 50 cents. And when I paid for it, they said it's 60. And I said, the sign says 50. And the guy goes, it's 60. And I said, okay, so I just look at the sign, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I know the interferon's making me a little crazy. The sign says 50, and he goes, it's 60. And I said, well, why does the sign say 50? He says, it's 10 cents to cut it.
It's a good thing you're not like me. I like 2 cuts. They would have charged me 70 cents.
I said, well, where does it say? Where does it say? Wait, you're ahead of me. I said, where does it say that there's 10 cents to cut it? He says, no, it doesn't say, but that's what we charge. And I said, well, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't want the cinnamon raisin. I want the plain, and I want it uncut. And he wouldn't give it to me. He wouldn't give it to me.
What? I would have gone crazy. I would have been recording there. I would have turned the phone on.
Well, it was flip phone days. Year 2000.
Yeah. I never heard that in my life. Does that place still exist, do you think?
Yeah, still. That's why I named it my name, and they're still there.
You got to go in there. Go in there with have your wife be videotaping you the whole time.
I don't know if they still charge 10 cents.
Say, do you guys still? I was just wondering. I came in here a number of years ago, and you guys were charging 10 cents to cut the bagels. Do you guys? Before I order, I'd like to just know that, because I have we're ordering a lot of bagels. I want to make sure that if that's the case, I really can't afford it. I'll just tell you not to cut the bagels.
I mean, what is the point?
I never heard it. That definitely outdid any story I've ever had in a restaurant. I don't think I've ever heard anything like that in my life.
So what? I changed the order. He wouldn't give me how it gets worse. So change the order, and I wanted the plain one from the cinnamon raisin. I remember what it was: cinnamon raisin cut in half.
Right. So what did he do when you said I want to change the order?
He said he wouldn't change the order because he thought I was giving him an attitude. I said, I am giving you an attitude because you deserve an attitude. I mean, what is the point? Of course I am.
So he wouldn't give you anything?
No. And then I had already had some flip outs because of interference, so I left.
Right.
I actually swallowed my pride and left.
Even though you were hungry, yeah.
Yeah.
for the first time in a week, you were hungry, and you actually couldn't even get the bagel over 10 cents, right? It's just it was the principle. I wouldn't give them the 10%, the 10 cents either at that point.
But the way I am usually, like, on something like that, typically, like, a 50-cent bagel, if they have like a tip jar, and I give them $1 and just put the 50 cents in, so I'd be paying double for it. But the principle of
the fact that he pulled the 10 cents, you think he
I should have gone to a Splenda jar and stole all the Splendas like you.
Yeah, you should. You think I always make sure I get my 10 cents worth. Yeah. Do you think that he actually said that to you on purpose because you called him out on what the price of the bagel was? Or do you think that was really the policy?
That was the policy. 10 cents to cut it. That was a policy, and it wasn't on the board.
So in other words, if you would have taken the bagel, like, just give me a bag of 5 bagels, they would have charged you only 50 cents a bagel.
Yes, 50 cents a bagel. But if you want one cut, it's.
But if you want to sit there and eat it, right? Then they're going to cut it for you, and they're going to make you 10 cents on you.
Yeah. Which is 20% markup on the bagel.
That's a pretty big markup on a 50-cent
bagel. I should have actually called the Maine Bureau of Taxation and see if they were reporting. If cutting was a taxable.
That's right.
I
would have gone back in there and fucked with them again. I would have brought like 20 guys in there and made them do the bagels, and then would have said, and then when he charged them, the extra 10 cents, I would have had them all say, well, what do you mean 10 cents more? Well, how come you overcharging us? You gouging us here? No, it's 10 cents to cut the bagel. We don't want the bagels. After they cut them all, after they cut like 20 bagels, I would have had in there. I would have said, forget it. Keep the bagels. We don't want them. Give them to someone else. Now you just lost all your profit for the day.
I used to stop when I used to stay at your house.
What if you bring your own knife? Can you cut your own bagel?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
let's say I want butter.
When I was on interferon, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I used to stop at the bagel store.
So hold on. It's 50 cents for a buttered bagel. Is that what it was?
It was 50. Let's say I can't remember the price. It was cheap, but it was like whatever the
bagel
but
was
price was.
Were you getting a plain bagel, or did you get something on it?
I got a raisin bagel cut in half. That's all I wanted.
Oh, you didn't want
not toasted, so I didn't use your electricity.
So maybe he was pissed off that you didn't get like a topping on it, like cream cheese or butter or anything like that. I'm into Bialys lately. You know what Bialys are?
Oh, I love Bialys. I love Bialys.
They make the fresh Bialys. So I get my sandwich there on usually like a toasted sesame, and then then I get a toasted Bialy with butter. I remember that from back in my early days of Jewishness. And
Bob Gruskin. That's where I had my first Bialy at Bob Gruskin's house.
They're the best.
He'd take a Bialy and you know how to turn it into a diet Bialy?
How?
He'd cut it in half. He wouldn't charge me the 10 cents. But he'd tear out all the inside, all the doughy part.
I don't like the doughy part anyway. I like the outside, the shell.
So you just have the crusty outside,
right?
And he'd put like vegetables in it and like turkey and say, look, you eat a lot of carbs. I'm like,
probably delicious. Oh my god. Oh, how funny. So Roger Stone, our friend, got arrested. And I say our friend only because he was a guest on the Live With TV show. He came on with the Mean Lie. This was several months back. As a matter of fact, I even put a little excerpt of that up after I heard he was arrested. And we all knew this was. I think he knew it was coming too, pretty much. But he had time to do like he did like 2 TV interviews. He did a speech from the steps of the courthouse. He did a podcast. He gave the
Nixon victory speech. He gave the Nixon victory
resignation speech.
And you know what? 24 hours later, they asked him today, "Would you sit down with Mueller?" He said, "Yeah, of course I would."
Yeah, that's so funny. The funny thing is that for those who don't know who Roger Stone is like a political pundit. He's worked on the Nixon campaign back when he was 20 years old.
He was 19 when he worked on the Nixon campaign.
Yeah, 1920. And then the funny thing is that he somehow befriended Amin Lie, the mad scientist guru. And Amin has been training as like trainer, I guess, for the last 20-25 years, and they've been friends. And so he said you want to get Roger Stone on the show? And I kind of knew who he was. I didn't really know, so we got him on, and we talked about Trump and everyone. It was a great interview. And we even asked him about Arnold and what he thought about Oprah running for president. He actually said that Oprah would never win because Michelle Obama wants to run for president. He was giving us all these like cool insights that you don't hear anywhere.
What do you say about Arnold? I can't remember.
He said, because I asked him about what Arnold, why him and Trump don't get along, and it was a whole thing about the ratings on the
Apprentice ratings. That's right.
The TV show, but he's look, he's smart. It's funny. He sent me a T-shirt, free Roger Stone or something. I forget what it was called, something like that on there. I didn't do it or something like that. Roger Stone didn't do it or something like that. This was before I got arrested, and Amin Ali got one too, and he actually, matter of fact, I wore it on the TV show, and everyone was asking me where to. Not everyone. A lot of people asked me where they could buy it, and I don't think they were available to. But Amin wore his out to like a restaurant or something like that, and someone came up and clocked him like right in the nose. Amin's got a big nose to begin with, and he's already had like 2 nose surgeries, and the guy just blasted him in the face. Which I thought was pretty funny. I didn't know people assaulted people anymore for wearing T-shirts, but evidently they do. So he'll probably. He says he'll never testify against the president. I believe that. I don't believe he will. I think he's very loyal to Trump. And he'll probably go to jail and get arrested, and Trump will probably pardon him. What do you think?
I don't. Let's see. When it comes to the pardons, because he can't pardon everyone.
Right, but I think he's very loyal.
He's got to pardon the key people. So the people who know the most, or say the least, are the ones who are going to most likely be in line for a pardon.
You don't think that he would pardon if Roger went to jail for him? I think he'll pardon him.
The people who know the most or say the least. So if he knows the most and says the least, then yeah, he could get a pardon.
He probably will. Because from what I understand, he knows a lot. And so I thought that was funny. Anyway, it's always weird when you get these unusual interviews. Like you had mentioned to me off the air. It's funny, you can't get an Arnold interview, but you got Roger Stone.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny. I mean, Arnold's relevant to our industry. Roger just works out.
Well, I mean, how many degrees of separation is it here? You've got Roger Stone on RxMuscle. You've got the owner of the Mr. Olympia who got a buy to be able to speak to the special prosecutor Mueller.
Right.
They were going to throw him in the can.
True.
David Pecker. Well, not throw him in the can, but they were going to.
He didn't want to be involved. He obviously didn't do anything. He just, they said, look, you just tell us what you know.
Tell us everything you know.
Yeah, and I probably I think most people would have done that. Don't you?
Of course.
He didn't do anything wrong. He just reported news. Oh, by the way, Franco Santoriello, for those of you who saw the interview with him, he won the, he was the winner of the NPC Nationals overall. He had a big drug problem. He came on. He's a ordained minister now, and he was telling me about the cycle he did for the Nationals when he won. He only used Winstrol, and Chris said no way, and so Franco said, "Tell Chris Aceto I would never lie. I don't lie anymore." He goes, "I lied a lot in my past. I don't lie anymore." He goes, "I swear to God."
I found out that the Winstrol that he was using was fake, so he was 100% natural out there.
No, you know what he told me? He said, "Swear to God," he goes, "Dave," he goes, "guys used to give me free drugs." Because back then steroids were not even illegal. Guys would give him free steroids, like bags of it, and he would sell them to get his pain meds, all the drugs he was doing. He'd sell them for cocaine and Quaaludes and heroin and Percocets, anything he was going to use. He just sold all the steroids. So he said, all I had left in my drawer was a bottle of Winstrol V, and that when I decided to do the Nationals at the last minute, he goes, that's what I used. And I said, well, look, I said, Franco, there's no reason for you to lie, I guess, at this point. He goes, no. He goes, I already told you everything. I was the biggest liar of all time. He goes, I don't lie anymore. He goes, I swear. He goes, that's all I used. So take it for what it's worth.
You talk about steroids being legal or illegal, whatever. Not a big deal way back then.
Yeah, Dave, you can go to regular pharmacy.
If you come to Maine, I can bring you to all the pot shops. And you can go in and say, I have a headache. They say, oh, we have a good smoke for that.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because my son loves this Thor movie. We're always watching Thor. I watched the movie over and over, Thor Ragnarok, and in the movie he's the god of thunder, and he does this thunder punch. So I'm thinking of I'm trying to think of names of different nutritional products that come with. I said, I wonder if I did Thunder or Thunder Bar or something like that. Or so I Google, to see if anyone used the name before, because a lot of times all the names are used. Mm-hmm. And Thunder is like a pot marijuana like strain or something like that, or a combination strain. I'm sure all the marijuana people out there probably know what it is. I thought it was pretty funny.
So can you imagine if steroids were made legal? Because you can go into all the pot shops, you could say, my shoulder hurts. They said, we got pot for pain.
Who would be the first person to open up a steroid
Boston
store?
Lloyd, for sure.
Yeah, you
Ding,
read my mind.
Game show, we're in.
I got news for you. I'd be the next
gazillionaire.
guy in line to open it up.
Boston would open up a little boutique store in like Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And that's it. He would only need one store.
Yeah, I would definitely open a store. There's no doubt about that. That would be
but
great.
you could go in and you could say,
I'd close
tired.
down. I'd close down all the other businesses. I would forget RxMuscle. You guys never hear from me again. It would be called Jumbo Palumbo's anabolic store. People would come from all over the world to sample the exotic blends
gummies.
that I'd have in there.
Trenbolone gummies for a headache.
Yeah. Have everything.
A deck of lollipops for your shoulder.
You'd be able to do stuff right in the store. We'd have like back rooms. How like they have like tanning rooms. You'd go back there. We'd shoot you right up right there. Forget about it. I did an interview with Carl Lenore, who does Superhuman Radio. I've known him for 25 years. He used to do the radio show with Aaron Singerman. They had that off-topic radio show.
They had a catastrophic. I think they had like a Russian moment or something, right?
Yes, I don't know, but all I know is that Carl's been doing this other radio show, Superhuman Radio, from before I was doing radio shows, and Carl and I always get along really well, and he's a very knowledgeable guy, and he's. He'll come to me if he has some new ideas or whatever, and he said, I get him on to do a TV show, every once in a while, and he said, I get this. I want to talk about this new gut peptide that's available. It's called LL37, and it's interesting because Carl always has really bad gas and distended stomach, and a lot of times it's due to overgrowth of bacteria in your small intestine, not your colon. And he, a lot of times they prescribe antibiotics for that. They have like rifampin but it's a very expensive antibiotic. It's like $1,500 for like a treatment of the stuff, 6-week treatment.
So it's probably like $5, but
yeah, it probably costs like 50 cents. But there's this gut peptide called LL37 that's supposed to modulate your immune system, and it acts almost as an antibacterial against foreign invading bacteria. And he started taking. He did 6 weeks of it. He said he feels amazing, and. Cured all his problems. He can eat foods he never was able to eat before, like breads and stuff like that. Because a lot of times, if you have overgrowth of bacteria in your small intestine, those bacteria will ferment the foods you eat. A lot of the foods, and what you do is you get gas, burpee, and all kinds of. Sometimes I think that happens to me. I think I just eat too fast, but you can get burpee and you can get like indigestion, and so. He took the stuff he swears by. Matter of fact, he had a toenail fungus, and we all have to tell you that one toenail that like is yellow, will never go away. He said even when he started taking the stuff, that started going away. It started growing out without the fungus on it. So it's like a natural bactericide, fungicide type of thing, and they even think it might affect the brain now. It's funny. I was reading an article. I think we talked. I'm losing my mind now. But did we talk about the Alzheimer cure? No, we didn't talk about that.
Nope.
There's an article out that they found that they think they know what causes Alzheimer's now. Everyone. They always thought it was.
I'm always curious about it.
Yeah, no, I know you are because it runs in your family too. But they thought that it was the accumulation of beta amyloid plaques in the brain. That causes.
I read that. Yeah.
But what all they know is that when they biopsy the brains of people with Alzheimer's after they die, they see these plaques in there. But a lot of people have plaques in their brain, but not everyone has Alzheimer's. So why is that? And what they found is with the Alzheimer's people, they have the bacteria that causes like gingivitis in your mouth and your gums. That bacteria actually has been found in association with these beta amyloid plaques in the brains of Alzheimer's patients, and people who have both the plaques and the bacteria seem to have the worst cases of Alzheimer's. So now the theory is, and they've shown this in mice, that if it can kill these bacteria, these gingivitis bacteria in your brain, you live longer and you have more cognitive function. It's amazing. The mice, I think, were able to live like 60% longer or something like that, and they didn't have to, because they would get, what they would do is they would give them they would put the bacteria in there and see what happens. They got demented from it, So it was interesting that I think they're starting to really do some clinical trials with people who have Alzheimer's in this country on humans, which is cool, because in the past they never would do anything.
Mm-hmm.
They would always wait 25 years before human trials. We got to wait 20 years before we can do that. It's pretty. It's the P. gingivalis bacteria, which is the bacteria that will cause gingivitis in your gums. And it's funny because I'm thinking, my dad he didn't have Alzheimer's, but he had dementia, obviously, but he had terrible, gum health, and always had. I know he had a lot of periodontal surgery. I'm wondering if that was the case. And they found that bacteria. I mean, that antibiotics to kill these bacteria are somewhat effective, but they have different ways of blocking certain enzymes that seem to be even more potent at inhibiting this. So who knows? Maybe in 10 years there'll be a cure for Alzheimer's.
I'm going to drink my Listerine now. Get it right into the brain. I always feel better, healthier when I feel more energetic when I floss. Well, you're addicted to floss.
Yeah.
People don't know that, do they?
Nobody
flosses
if they know me. If they know me, they'll see that I always have to floss. I think it annoys people.
How many times a day do you floss? 7, 8?
Every time I eat. I don't really eat 7 or 8 times. Probably 3 or 4 times now, because that's about what I eat.
You
I'll eat
every single tooth?
Yeah, I floss between everything. Every time I eat, just to keep all that. I'm petrified to lose my teeth. First of all, because my dad had terrible teeth.
Why don't you use a water pick?
Because I can't carry that in my pocket.
Okay, well, there you could go on Shark Tank. I mean, I think Kukla's been on Shark Tank.
Plus,
So
it's
has
too
the walrus or the
too messy. Too messy.
Maybe you and I can go on and do an anabolic marijuana
there you go.
boutique shop with Boston Lloyd, and we can all go on Shark Tank, the 3 of us.
We have to get Roger Stone to get the thing legalized first, right? Now, the interesting thing about this whole Alzheimer's thing is that, how do you detect if you have gingivalis in your brain?
Yeah, in your brain.
It's very easy. It's not easy, but you can do it because you can do a spinal tap on people. So if you tap the spinal fluid in your spinal column, that's the same fluid that bathes your brain. If you find the bacteria in there, which it shouldn't be, then you have that bacteria in your brain, which would be a huge risk factor, obviously, for contracting Alzheimer's. So it's interesting that they can do something about that. I'm serious. This is like a huge discovery. We might be talking in 10 years. People might say, "You remember when Dave and Chris mentioned that back on the show?" They might even create a vaccine against this bacteria. Think about that. You just get a vaccine and you never get Alzheimer's. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
That's huge, great news for people who have this running in their family and they're worried about themselves, or there could be a cure for it. Because there's no reason why people think about it. The occurrence of Alzheimer's has increased tremendously in the population.
Well, is it increased because people are living longer,
No.
or is it increased because it's increased?
No, they're finding it in younger people nowadays. I think it's a bacteria. I think poor gum health. Who knows? Maybe if you have a root canal, it pushes it into your brain more easy. I had a bunch of root canals. I don't know.
I just saw a documentary on root canals yesterday.
What'd they say?
That bacteria from your mouth can get into what do they leave there sometimes? What's left over?
The canals?
Yeah. What's the part of not the nerve, but what's connected to the tooth?
The root.
Yeah, well, they're highly sensitive to bacteria in the mouth that cause all types of health problems.
Yeah, and the brain, I'm sure, could be easily penetrated if you're in your jaw already, right? You're in your jawbone. Yeah. It's not a very big jump from the jaw to the brain.
Yeah.
This is huge research. This is a huge discovery. Someone's going to win a Nobel Prize for this. I bet you. You mark my words. You heard it here first.
Maybe Carl Lenore will win it.
Carl Lenore. This is I had nothing to do with Carl Lenore. This was just my segue from Carl Lenore.
Well, it's 3 in the morning. We're doing
Yeah.
the show.
Well, I don't know. Maybe LL37 can kill these bacteria off too.
Yeah. See, I went from the
Now I want to take it. Now I have to go out and get it.
Yeah.
Because the good thing about LL37 is that they have a new law where these I guess compounding pharmacies can make these peptides now legally in the United States, and you can have doctors prescribe them. There's only 7 compounding pharmacies that make LL37, supposedly, according to Carl Lenore's research. But I'm going to talk to Titan Medical about it, because TitanMedicalCenter.com, obviously I send a lot of people there, and they do prescribe peptides. Now I'm going to tell them to see if they can make that available, and that would be something great for bodybuilders, who are really into their health and everything like that, and want to make sure that their gut, is working properly. Because obviously, if you're not extracting the food out of your gut and you're fermenting stuff because of overgrowth of bacteria, obviously that could affect, the bloating in your stomach. It also affect, how you build muscle and burn fat as well. So I think this is a huge discovery. I know I kind of segued onto the Alzheimer's story, but I thought it was relevant at that point, to go there. And I think that there's tremendous potential. So there's one peptide site. Carl mentions it in the interview. If you go watch the interview, we even have it up on the screen there that actually makes LL37. So you can actually buy it, through this supposedly gray market route. The good thing about that one company, according to Carl at least, is that they test everything. They make it right there in California in the lab. It's not like brought in from China or anything like that. So you might want to check that out. Chris, I also did I didn't even do an interview. I saw on Larry Wheels. Larry Wheels. We've talked about him before. He's like the strongest guy in the world now, as far as I'm concerned. Pound for pound. Maybe not even pound for pound. I don't think there's anyone strong. Ronnie Coleman wasn't stronger than this guy. He might be the strongest guy I've ever seen. He put out this crazy video of himself deadlifting like a ridiculous amount of weight, over 800 pounds for reps. And he had chains on the bar, and his chest started like bleeding, like there was blood running down his chest.
Pimple exploded or something.
Pimple exploded, right? Yeah, I mentioned that. So I did a little interview on it because I thought it was so sensationalistic. And on his Instagram he had a couple videos that I was amazed by. He was actually jousting with Hafthor Bjornsson, the guy who plays the Mountain in Game of Thrones and who just won the World's Strongest Man competition, and he knocked this guy. The guy is 6'9". He's 450 pounds, and Larry Wheels has got to be like 250 maybe if he's that much, and he's maybe 5'10", 5'11". And Larry is jousting with him like American Gladiators jousting, and they're on this like beam, like where they're balanced. It's like it's like in a play park, and he knocks the guy down off the beam. I mean, the guy is the Mountain. I mean, he's huge. I mean, the fact that Larry was able to even move this guy was amazing. Knocked him down like he did this every single day. The guy's just a natural athlete. So I did this video on him. It's literally not even 3 minutes long. And I didn't even show my face. I just talked it, and I put some footage in there from Larry's Instagram talking about how amazing this guy is and what he was doing. And because I had text messaged Larry to verify what happened, and he told me that a pimple had popped or whatever. This video, Chris, is up to over 800,000 views. 800,000.
Why?
I don't know. I can't figure it out. If I could figure it out, all our videos would have 800,000 views. It went viral. I don't know how it went, or what I did, or what I said, or what the title. I don't know what it was. I said Larry Wheels, chest exploding. David Palumbo explains, or something like that. It was called. And it's probably over 1 million by now. By the time this radio show goes up, this was as of Sunday night at 800,000.
You just got maybe you can do like a clickbait and say so and so's
nutsack blew up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what it was. I think it was. Is it Larry
Franco
Wheels?
Santoriello's chest explodes.
Yeah, is it Larry Wheels? I don't know what it is. It's Larry, but 800,000. I don't think that's like more views than like all our videos combined. for the last 2 months. And we get a lot of hits, but that's a lot of hits. So I thought that was pretty ironic. But Larry Wheels is so impressive to me. He does a video on his Instagram, Chris, where he actually he's got 500 pounds on a straight bar. They have it balanced on, like, there's a bunch of guys helping him. He's not doing this alone. He's got it balanced on these like 2 podiums, and he goes over to it, Chris, and he's standing, okay, and he lifts the thing over his head, like presses it, walks backwards with it, with 500 pounds, brings it down, and does a reverse, or I don't know if it was reverse or front press with it. So he just, and you would think that the weight was like 135 pounds. With 500 pounds. First of all, there's probably no one on the planet who can legitimately seated press 500 pounds, right?
Yeah.
This guy standing makes it look like it's like no weight at all, and takes it off and presses over his head and puts it back. I've never seen anything like it. I can't.
How old? He's young too, right?
Yeah, he's under 30. I can't imagine. Of course, all the haters out there are like, oh, wait till he gets to Ronnie Coleman's age, he'll be worse than he is. I don't care. Who gives a shit? I'm not worried about that. He's not worried about it. I just can't believe how strong this guy is, and he's not even that big. I mean, he's got a nice physique. He reminds me we talked about this of Cedric McMillan a little bit, except I think Cedric's got better. Well, maybe not better legs. I guess Cedric has better legs now, but he looks like a young Cedric. This is the kind of guy that he'll be. When he hits like 35, he'll probably be in his prime. He could be a great bodybuilder, too. But this guy can do it all. He's like the Bo Jackson of the strength and bodybuilding world.
Well, he needs one of the gurus we were talking about before the show started.
He needs no gurus interfering, because whatever he's doing is working. I've never seen anything like it. I think he could be one of the best strongmen. Can you imagine him going against those big guys like Brian Shaw?
Oh, people would love it.
And Hapthor. Yeah. Loading those Atlas stones. This guy is so freaking strong. The only disadvantage he has is he's not as tall as those guys.
Do you have any ins with Brian Shaw?
Yeah, I know Brian. Why?
Does he sell anything like T-shirts or
probably?
Posters
I'm sure.
or
Why?
Pictures? Because I was being investigated by Code the other day, and they said I'm serious.
Yeah.
And the Code guy said something.
Oh, he's a Brian Shaw fan?
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and then switched to Brian Shaw, and he knew everything about Brian. He knew all these strongmen.
Oh, so you got to get him. You got to bribe him a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll get you Brian's number. You can.
I'm dead serious.
I'm serious too. I'll give it to you. Look, whatever it takes, right?
Yeah.
I want to put my son in fighting. He likes to fight, so I want to give him an outlet. One of the guys who carries our Species product here owns like a personal training. Well, he owns like a gym, and he trains like the guy who owns like this martial arts place here. So I'm calling him up. I'm calling in my favors.
Yeah.
Got to do the same thing, whatever it takes.
Yeah, martial arts is good to get kids into because it gives them some type of outlet for all that energy.
Oh, by the way, I just got an email, so I remember. Vegan Gains. Vegan Gains. Remember my whole little battle I had with him?
Oh yeah.
They closed down his YouTube account.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they shut him down.
Why don't you do a funny little rant on that?
I should.
Why did Mueller arrest him or?
I don't know. Well, Louis Marco's gone now, and Vegan Gains, the two people that started trouble with me, and
You're
it's
kidding
funny
me.
that I would
Why
like
are they
to
both
take.
gone?
I don't know. I'd like to take credit for putting him out of business.
I know. I predicted one of my millions of predictions. See, if you make a million predictions, like 20% of them come true, and then I say I'm always right. I told you Louis would have a breakdown anyway because I said he was done once Bonac tried to clock him.
I think it was
wherever they were because he had to come out into the real world.
Yeah.
And Vegan Gains, I didn't. I'd never heard of him until he started criticizing you, but they shut him down. Find out why they shut him down.
Yeah, he's probably.
I think selling something.
I think they usually shut these guys down because of political views. That's usually why YouTube shuts you down. You can make fun of people all you want. They shut you down when you start talking too political. I think. Someone sent me a video, some guy explaining the update on Vegan Gains channel termination, but I can't watch it while we're doing the thing. I'm sure it's not that interesting, to be honest with you. I'm sure.
Well, they're sending it to you so you can rub it in his face, because the irony is he probably listens to the show.
Oh, of course he does. Yeah. The funny thing is, I actually found the guy. I actually found him pretty fucking funny. You know, that's the funny thing. I found him interesting, and he started with me, and then I had to put him. I had to put him down. I told you don't start with Dave Palumbo. Dave Palumbo doesn't go anywhere. We've been here for 10 years now, and I was even more here before this. But 10 years RxMuscle we've been doing. This February 9th, I believe, will be our 10th complete year, and so we're not going anywhere. Don't mess with me. I don't mess with anyone else. But if you start with me, I'm going to defend myself vehemently. Matter of fact, I get entertained by it to a certain degree.
Of course you do. When someone starts picking on you, I bet Amanda says, "Oh no," right?
Who knows?
Because you're obsessed about it.
She won't know, because I'll wait till 2 a.m. I'll go over there and I'll start recording videos at 2 a.m. But I only do it because it's funny. I actually, most of the time, I actually laugh at the stuff that people do because it's pretty funny. But when I did the Louis Marco interview with him, it was like 2 a.m. He had to do it right then and there, and then he got so mad that he removed it because people were saying that I demolished him. It's pretty funny. I think it is.
I figured Louis would have given me a congratulations of some sorts, because I mean, his arch nemesis is Phil Heath, and
that's true.
And Sean Roden put an end to that.
So our good friend,
isn't it interesting how unhyped that win was for Sean? I mean, it's like, no big deal.
Yeah.
Didn't it feel like if Ramy had beaten him, if Rolly had beaten him, if Bonac had beaten him?
Because Sean is such a very mild-mannered guy. That's why.
Is the answer. You're right.
If I would have won the Olympia, I would have been. Look, I would have been screaming like a lunatic.
Had you won?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, you would have been on the Tonight Show. You would have been.
I would have been going nuts. I mean, everyone would have remembered. It would have been so. I mean, even Jay was, when he won the Olympia the first time, was really charged up. I don't think I've ever seen Jay so animated. Before. He was controlled animated, but he was animated. So this our good friend Derek, who always sends us stuff and sends in questions to the show. I know he listens. I just got an email from him saying Vegan Gains was taken off. Everyone's telling me this, like I haven't heard, but I guess that's because usually I don't follow this kind of stuff. But he wants me to do a rant defending him. He said, because like him or not, YouTube channels are important for all viewers to be able to see all content and make up their own minds. I agree with that, actually. I think that's actually, I do agree that they shouldn't shut down people for their political views, or any views for that matter. But some people are pain in the asses. So, no, but because you know what? They could shut anyone. They could shut us down if they really wanted to. Right?
No. First Amendment.
Yeah. I wonder if they shut him down because of his views on the veganism, because he's so like anti animals, and maybe the farmers said, "Can you get rid of this guy, please? He's fucking annoying the crap out of us." Not the farmers, the people who do meat production in this country. The farmers love him because he's.
Remember when Oprah was sued for the meat thing?
What was she sued about?
Google it. She was sued for saying something negative about beef, and the farmers.
Because she probably hurt the business, because she could really.
Yeah, she did. Well, and they got together, and they were like a powerful group, and they have tons of money, and they were suing her for not like $10,000, not $2 million, like for everything she had. That's when she met Dr. Phil.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because his expertise at the time was, or part of his expertise was, they brought him in on her behalf to coach her to be likable.
Oh, really? That's true?
Yeah, and she was scared out of her wits, and he came in, and he took over her case, and she won the case.
I didn't know that. It's interesting. Yeah, it sounded a little far-fetched. They probably should have gone, instead of going after like $1 billion, they should have gone after like 10 million. That probably would have been more. She probably would have settled for them and just got rid of it. They got too greedy. So if you get too greedy when you go after like things, you wind up losing everything, you know.
You asked Roger Stone if she was going to run for president, right?
Yeah. He said no. Well, he said he said if she did, she'd lose because Michelle Obama is going to run for the Democratic nominee, and that she'll never lose because they control the Democratic Party, the Obamas, and I guess Michelle Obama doesn't like Oprah, from what Roger at least said. I don't know any of this firsthand, but Roger seems to have good intel. I get a lot of like.
He may have good intel, but he's got bad karma, dude.
Well, I'm sure he's. Look, there's always the guy. There's always the guy who does the dirty work. Behind the scenes for these people, and it's a job. And he's done a lot of jobs behind the scenes. Just because he does the job doesn't mean he agrees with it. He did say he left the Bush campaign because he didn't like their cronyism that was going on there. The second Bush, not the first Bush. So who knows? Everyone's does stuff that they probably shouldn't be doing, and no one's squeaky clean. And that's why if you profess to be squeaky clean, those are the people I run from when I hear that.
Yeah,
right?
It's true. Yeah.
I'd rather have someone tell me all their problems. You know what? I'm a fuck up. I was a drug addict. I did this. I did that. Like, I trust Franco Santoriello more than I trust.
I'm just gonna say Franco because I'm just gonna say his laundry's all out there.
Yeah. Recovering drug addicts are the best people to talk to because the ones that are really recovered because
then they have a clean slate.
Yeah, they'll never lie again. My dad told me once. He says, when I was a young guy, I used to lie a lot. He goes, and I don't know why. He goes, maybe I was insecure, and he goes, I just said to myself, I'm never lying again. He goes, I can't stand myself. And as long as I know him, I mean, as long as I was alive, I never remember my dad ever telling a lie. As a matter of fact, he was so honest that it was sometimes it was annoying. I remember my mom telling, "Could you shut up? Don't say anything." He's like, I can't deceive this person. He's like was super honest, which actually was something that I actually looked up to in a sense because I don't think I could have been that honest. He was honest to a flaw in that sense. He just couldn't tell a lie. He completely traumatized himself that if he told a lie, he would go back to the way he was, I guess, when he was younger. And so he never told a lie. So it was pretty interesting, to have a parent like that, I wish I was as honest as he was. Although I'm pretty honest now. I have nothing to lie about anymore, but when you're younger and when you're selling steroids and stuff like that and you're doing taking steroids, you tend to lie a lot because you don't want anyone to know. If someone says to you, "Are you taking steroids?" What are you going to say? Yes, unless you're Boston Lloyd. You say no, of course, So, but now that I'm I'm living the up and up, and I'm the father, and 2 kids, and another on the way. I don't lie anymore. I got to be a good example to my son and daughter, right?
How's your pool coming, by the way?
It's not coming because it's been raining here every day.
I heard monsoons, right?
Yeah, they were supposed to. We needed the water, but I don't know if we needed it, exactly today. But
that much.
Because I root for the plants now. We have so many trees and exotic stuff that we've planted on the property that in the winter here it tends to be very dry and things will die. And I because I have my shoulder done, I can't really yank the hose around and water everything. Every day. Last year when we planted a ton of stuff, every day I was out there watering, like 2 hours a day, like a lunatic. And we have sprinklers, but the trees don't get enough water from the sprinklers. So I was watering everything, which enabled me to keep pretty much everything. We have all the trees survived. And then when the summer comes here, it's like rains every day. So they grow like weeds. But now the winter came, so the trees are kind of like, settled, but I could tell they were starting to get a little dry looking, and I'm like, we really need rain. So we got the rain, but then they were supposed to shoot the pool with the concrete on Friday, and then there was like 40 people outside my house, trucks and everything at 8 a.m, and they were all standing in the rain. I'm like, what are you guys doing here? You obviously can't, maybe the rain will stop. I said that the pool's filled with water. Look, I don't know anything about concrete, but I know you can't put concrete in there when there's 3 feet of water in the pool. So they left. They're supposed to come back tomorrow, but it's been raining for 2 days here, which is unusual because usually in Florida it rains for 10 minutes and it stops. So it'll be interesting to see if they come tomorrow. You would think that they would, text us or like say, hey, can you send us a picture of what the pool looks like, rather than show up at 8 in the morning with 400 people here again and they can't do anything. We'll see. I'm not in a rush. You know what? It's winter here. It's too cold anyway to go swimming, but even though the pool will be heated.
What's too cold?
It's been in the 50s. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cold. That's cold,
That's cold for Florida. Last year it was a hot. We had a really hot, or 2 years ago it was a really hot winter. It was like 90 degrees. I don't mind as long as there's no snow. I don't care. I don't care about the little chilliness in the air. It's 50 degrees in New York to me used to be like the summer. I would walk around in a tank top. Now I'm a little. I don't tolerate the cold as much. I think my wife says it's from living down here. I think it's from dropping a lot of weight. I think when I was like 250, I was sweating all the time. I was like I had like my own.
You're carrying all that weight around.
Yeah, I had my own internal heater. Now I have nothing. I have no insulation anymore.
How many bodybuilders do you know sleep with the fan year round?
Yeah,
Even in the cold weather.
Sure. Yeah, no. I used to have one next. I'd have two fans on. I had the overhead fan on, and then I have a fan right next to my dresser, blowing right on me. I was always so hot, especially when you're on Trenbolone, makes you sweat like a lunatic. Now I'm like I put the heat on at night. I'm the only guy in Florida with the heat on now. I completely ruined my fucking self. I go back to the doctor on Friday, and that's my 6-week checkup. So hopefully, I noticed this past week that my shoulder's been feeling like less vulnerable. I've been using my arm a lot more, so I have a feeling he's going to clear me to start doing stuff using the shoulder. Not lifting weights yet, but using the shoulder. That, from what I can remember from last year when I got my shoulder done, that's a good point because then you can start becoming a normal human being again. You get used back of your arm. The problem is I have to wait another 6 weeks to start doing some gym stuff with that arm. So I'm like withering away. I'm trying to eat more food to try to hold my weight a little bit, but it's just a matter of I can't train really. So I've been trying to do the, as Blackman would say, the alternate arm training. Like I have like this AFS, not AFS, the Life Fitness cable crossover machine. So I do like arms, or arm, I should say. I do arm, right, bicep and tricep. Do some side laterals to try to keep the left arm, working. And I don't have any leg equipment. That's why I really wish I had some leg equipment. Not that I can really use the leg equipment anyway.
So when do you have time to train?
I don't. I when I'm playing with the kids upstairs in the game room, I'm doing sets in between.
Yeah, but you'll give that up. You watch with 3 kids. I mean, that's why nothing's more impressive to me than a successful competitive bodybuilder with more than one child.
I don't know how they do it. Right? I could never have done it. Never. Well, you know what? Those are selfish guys that just can go out and just they don't care.
Or I don't know, maybe they're organized and.
No, I mean, look, if I was doing this for a living and I had a different, setup with a different situation, I may be able to do it. I don't know. You just have to leave. All right, I'm going to the gym. I don't know. I would feel like I was not connected to my family as much. You know what I mean? I'd have to be very emotionally distant, and and that's what Dorian was. Remember, Dorian said that in his interview. He said he was the worst father because he couldn't emotionally be connected to his kids because if he did, he would lose that eye of the tiger, so to speak. And he had
there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, because he had to get all his meals in, he had to get his training in, he had to think about it, he had to get enough sleep. He wasn't. He's like I was an absentee parent. Essentially, I was there, but I wasn't really there, and I can relate. I can completely relate to that. It makes sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, what Sergio Oliva always says.
What do you say?
I think he says there's not many very successful bodybuilders with kids.
Yeah. Dorian was one of them, but Dorian admitted that he wasn't really present. He was present, but he wasn't present.
Yeah. Well, there's different levels of being present, right?
Yeah. No, there absolutely is, and who knows? What the right. That's why I knew intuitively that I would not be a good parent. While I was competing, and that's why I never wanted to get any. That's why I never really wanted to have kids. Then, once I stopped, I changed my whole tune because I understood.
Change your tune. That's got to be straight out of your father's verbiage.
Exactly.
Change the tune.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I see they have Sharu is holding his Cheru Classic how an Indian guy promotes a show in Colombia. I don't know, but this is his second year he's holding that Cheru Classic in Colombia. It's on my birthday. That's why I noticed it. February 17th. Giving out a bunch of pro cards there. Good for him. There's a show in an amateur Olympia in Tunisia. 9 pro cards available. That's February 8th and 9th. So February is going to be busy with a lot of these pro qualifiers, these amateur Olympias and some of the other ones. What else is there? I got to stop doing the ums. See, when I don't have a lot of stuff to talk about, I start like trying to create space, and I do ums. I hate that. IFFB Pro League Nepal. They got 4 pro cards up for grabs. That's also in the same weekend. That's the February 15th through the 16th in Kathmandu, Nepal. I would have loved to go there. That would have been a good. If I didn't have 2 kids and one on the way.
Definitely worry about your knees and shoulders there.
I would love to go to I That's a place that I can definitely, and I probably could have talked him into bringing me out there too. I would have done a seminar or something out there.
No, I thought it
Luli
was
Winkler's
South
the guest
Africa.
poser.
Was it in South Africa?
I don't know. Where is Kathmandu? It's Nepal. It's in Nepal. IFBB League Nepal is the charge of this. But they're giving up. Look, they never had these pro cards available before. And the great thing is that anyone from anywhere in the world can go.
Yeah.
If I was competing nowadays, maybe I'd have to plan a trip there to Kathmandu. Try to get my pro card there. Where'd you get your pro card? Kathmandu.
Yeah. Well,
Kathmandu. What the hell is that? Is that like the USA Championship? No, it's the Kathmandu. It's the Nepal Bodybuilding Championships.
Victor Richards got his in Nigeria.
That's right. That's right. There wasn't even a pro.
The biggest guy on earth went to Kathmandu to get his pro card.
Jack Titoni's going to be the head judge there. He's actually doing a seminar there. See, if Jack Titoni can get there, why can't I?
What is he doing the seminar on?
I don't know. Probably on,
Promoting, you mean, or?
Yeah, well, I know how to probably, get your pro card and stuff like that. Yeah, these guys, they need education there, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Jack's good like that. Jack likes talking to the fans and to all the people. And then they got a muscle contest in Japan the next weekend, February 24th, in Colts, Kawasaki, Japan. You're going to have a pro league bikini contest there. So we thought that February was going to be dead, but it's busy. Very busy. February 9th, they got the Legends Classic. So the muscle contest. That's in Las Vegas, though. So there's a lot of shows in February. A lot of people are waiting for the contest season to start. This LA Fit Expo was this past weekend. I didn't go, as you know. I haven't been traveling very much. I used to like that show. I did because it was, it's a good excuse to go to Venice, California there.
Yeah, it'd be great to go.
I'm sure probably Roden was there, right?
Yeah, Roden was there. Jay was. Everyone was there.
Oh, Jay went too? Well, Jay kind of.
I think Jay was there. Yeah, Jay was there.
I saw Aaron was there. Aaron went. He had a big Redcon booth. I think about doing booths. People always ask me, a lot of these reptile shows have they're like bodybuilding shows. They have like these shows, expos where you go to and the people have booths set up and they sell their snakes and lizards and all kinds of stuff. And they're like, why don't you do a reptile show? I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to go do a bodybuilding expo anymore. The idea of sitting behind a booth for 12 hours of the day talking to people.
When's the last booth you had?
I don't remember. It was probably an Arnold Classic booth. It might have been actually the Olympia. I did the Olympia one time or 2 times. It was either the Olympia or the Arnold. And then I realized how much I was spending. And I said, well, you know what? It would be good. It's a good investment when no one knows your company and you want to really establish who you are. But everyone knows who my company is already. And I just couldn't justify the, whatever it is. It's like $35,000, And that's doing it like very modestly, If you really want a big shebang, like Aaron does, that's $100,000, you're spending. You better make that money back. You better get a return on that. To me, that's gambling. I don't like to gamble that much. It's a big gamble. I'd rather grow very slowly. We've been around. Species has been around longer than RxMuscle. We've been around since 2008, and the company's grown every year, a little bit, and we make money now. So I'm not complaining. I'd rather continue to grow that way than put all the chips in the middle of the table, and roll the dice. Don't like it. Plus, I don't have time. Who wants to work it? I don't want to sit in an expo. I love the fans. I love meeting the fans and taking the pictures, but it's too exhausting. I get too much going on. I can get more accomplished you and I doing a radio show here, or me sitting on at 2 a.m. doing a Larry Wheels interview, a Larry Wheels report. I get more coverage that way. If 1 million people watch that, how many people are going to see me at the LA Fit Expo? 10,000, 20,000?
Not even. Yeah.
Not even.
Well, if it's crowded, it's right. When it gets crazy crowded, less people can even see you.
Yeah. So let's say 10,000 people see me at the LA Fit Expo. Well, 1 million people just watched the Larry Wheels, report I did. I think I'd rather do that. It's more bang for your buck. With YouTube now, you don't even want to leave your house anymore. Back in the day, you had to do magazines, you had to do booths. You don't need to leave your house anymore. It's a pain in the ass.
No, you even do the guru seminars at the house.
I do. I purposely
When is
built
the next
my
one,
own.
by the way?
Oh, February 23rd. Actually, we have 2 spots left. February 23rd. We have 2 spots left. They've been filling up very fast. For some reason, this time of year, I think everyone wants to get out of the cold northeast and northwest and come down to this warm, sunny Florida. Everyone's been signing up. I got a lot of people coming. So we got 2 spots I'll sell left. After those 2 spots are gone, I don't have any room left in there. So, guys, if you want to sign up for the Secrets of Becoming a Diet Guru, my 1-day seminar, 10 hours, take you out to lunch. You learn everything. You get a free 85-page manual that I wrote with all my routines and protocols in there to go along with the seminar for 10 hours. You should sign up at DavePalumbo.com, because if you don't, you're not going to get those seats. And this, for some reason, like I said, this February, I think is because it's really before the season starts. I get a lot of competitors who come, and it's good times. I think people are going to really enjoy it. And it's once again, you can't beat the weather out here, that's for sure. You can make a little mini vacation out of it. It's only 1-day seminar. Stay an extra day. Hang out, go to the beach, and enjoy the warm weather down here. What else do I have to announce?
Any Arnold news?
I haven't heard anything. No, I haven't really heard any drama, which is, I guess, a good thing, right?
Yeah. Any Rami news?
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you reminded me, because I did a little "Where is Rami" video news update on RxMuscle this past week. And I basically was saying, he was, at least my intel was, I think we talked about this last week, my intel was that Rami was living in the palace of one of the sheikhs there. And that he was training at several different gyms, and we got some pictures with him with people posing at different gyms. I got a text voicemail from Neil Hill, who told me, who's his new trainer, who told me that was not the case, that Rami was living in a private house that he purchased with his family. It's a nice house, he said. I guess Neil has been there already. And that Rami is training at one particular gym and not at many gyms. So thank you, Neil, for clarifying that. I don't know. My source was very good.
Does Rami need help with this training?
I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen Rami train. Have you?
Of course.
Is he a hardcore trainer, or is he like just
He's one of the best trainers. I mean.
Oh, really? He trains hard?
Strict form, very heavy.
Well, it's pretty obvious if he's got a ton of muscle. He better.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
I mean, does he need help with his training?
I don't know, but I think Neil is really training Rami's mind more than he's training his body. I think that's Rami's one weakness.
Well, according to Beta, that was his weakness, right?
Yeah, that's what Beta said.
That's a quote from Beta.
You're right. Now, that may or may not be true. Who knows?
I mean, you want to know where's Rami? Where's Beta, for God's sakes?
I haven't heard anything from Beta. You're right. Yeah, it's been very quiet on the oxygen gym.
Quiet.
Maybe he's planning something. He might be opening a new gym or something. I don't know.
Well, we wouldn't know.
Or maybe he's recruiting. You know, he might be out recruiting. You know how, like, you know, sometimes you get this dynasty at like a certain college 4 years. The college football team wins the national championships, and then after 4 years, there's no one left. You know, and so they got to go out and recruit again. Maybe they're out recruiting the new class of 2020 there.
Could be.
Maybe he's out there recruiting for the World Cup in Qatar.
No, he's laying low for the Arnold because he needs some success there.
Who does he have in the? Well, he's got Rulli in the showing, right? Brandon Curry.
Rulli's great. Brandon Curry is great.
Yeah. So he's got 2 heavy hitters in there.
And there's no 212.
No. Which?
Do they have a figure contest in it?
Yeah, they do.
They have a figure and they don't have the 212.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Oh my goodness!
I see the list of the Arnold Strongman list has come out too. Hafthor Bjornsson, who was the champion last year, will be back to defend that title. Rano Heinla from Estonia will be back. He's the 2008.
Who finds these people?
I don't know. He won the Arnold Australia, this guy. These are all the top guys in the world. Alexei Novikov from Ukraine. He was the amateur world champion last year. Mikhail Shilovikov. He won the Arnold South African championship. The 2018 Arnold Classic African champ was Jean-Francois Caron. Brian Shaw, of course. We know Brian. You got to get some pictures from him. I got to give you his number after the show. The Arnold Classic Europe champion, Martin Lassis. He'll be there as well. I forget how you pronounce it. Matus from Poland will be there. He's the 2019 Arnold Strongman USA runner-up. He's good. Jerry Pritchard, he'll be there as well. So we got a bunch of very, very strong lineup this year. Obviously, I think the 2 favorites have to be Brian Shaw, of course, and the Mountain, Hafthor Bjornsson, who we were talking about a little earlier, who Larry Wheels knocked. he won the Arnold Strongman, but Larry Wheels knocked him down. That's how strong Larry. They should give Larry Wheels a special invite to the Arnold Strongman, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to deadlift more than him?
Great, huh?
Right? That would be super exciting.
Incredible.
That you want to get drum up some business? There you go. Larry Wheels, special invite. I don't know if he would take it.
I mean, he would do well, right?
I think he would. I think he'd be top 5. I don't know if he'd win, but he'd certainly be top 5. The guy is he's like Black Panther, you know. He's so strong. He looks like he should be playing Black Panther. I'm telling you.
Who would be his agent?
I don't know. Maybe Dan Solomon could be his agent. Dan seems to have like some connections with Hollywood these days, right? And he could probably get him an invite to the Olympia right after that, since he's running the Olympia now. So a lot going on in the bodybuilding world. You know, we're all gearing up and waiting for the season to start, and obviously that's going to kick off with the Arnold Classic, at least for the men's open. A lot of excitement on that front. I haven't even thought about the Arnold, to be honest. I have to start planning what we're going to do, but I haven't even. But now that February's coming, I got to start focusing a little bit more. January I was focusing on healing, my shoulder and just having fun with all the shows we've been doing. And I've been getting a lot of the obviously legends on, and you know what? I've been getting a lot of emails from people saying, "Get this guy on, get that guy on, get this one on."
Who do they want to see?
I think I might have. Bob Paris. You're supposed to contact him for me.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for that. And another client of yours, I think I got on too from Matt Porter. Got what's his name, Chris Cook, to agree to come on.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna get Chris on, who we battled it out, him and I, a couple times on stage.
Yeah. It seemed like just yesterday, I was in Dallas with him, and I went out to his house.
Oh, really? I didn't even know.
I went out to his house, and I can't. He will tell you. I went to his house, and I stayed there a few days, and then we went to Dallas together. That's weird.
Well, didn't he get back into the MMA? He was into MMA and he got back
Yeah.
into MMA and we never heard from him again. So I'm going to find out what happened. We had reached Matt Porter also reached out to Aaron Madrin for me. He said, "Oh, you should get Aaron on," and Aaron declined. He didn't want to come on. He's bodybuilding. He's not in the bodybuilding world anymore. He didn't want to do it. So
That's interesting.
yeah, he's a family guy now. So
Let's see. How about?
But he
You
said
haven't
to say
had
hello.
Rory Liedermeyer, right?
I had him on the radio show years ago, but I'd like to get him on the TV show because he's very entertaining.
He's like 63, and he looks like he's 40.
Yeah, he's a freak of nature. There's a lot of guys that I still want to get on. Like I've been dying to get. I keep forgetting. I see him at every show, and I always take his number down. I think I actually texted him. I don't know if he got back to me. Mike Christian would be a great interview.
Yeah, that could be great.
I've had Gary Strydom on before, but he's always good. He's good.
Dave ran away with $1 million of mine. The crazy bear.
That's your Milos interview.
Well,
Your
it's
Milos
kind
voice.
it's kind of
Yes, that's
kind
better.
of like if I was taking what these guys were taking,
Yeah.
I'd wipe the floor with them.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I
That's-
was only using Winstrol.
And Gary was using a lot more than Winchell, that's for sure. I've heard some crazy stories. But yeah, we've had Gary on. Gary's a good guest. But I wouldn't mind getting him back. I think a lot of people forget. You gotta get these guys on every
That's what I'm trying to think
2
of.
years. You
Yeah,
got to
of course.
regenerate them because people don't
You gotta
remember.
get Jim Quinn on. That's what you gotta get on.
Jim Quinn, yeah, I've had him on the TV show before, but I wouldn't mind getting him on again. He's a great interview because I'm friends with him. So like.
How about Mike Quinn?
I think Mike has expressed interest. Mike is very outspoken about some of the shows we've done. He was very critical about some of them, but I love
Really?
Mike because he's so brutally
What did he
honest.
then, yeah, he's totally, yeah.
I've had Mike on the radio. He told stories about who did he punch out backstage again? I always forget. I tell the story 1,000 times and I can't remember who he beat up backstage.
I
at
don't
one of the
know.
shows.
Probably, he probably wanted to try to beat up Stridham. They hated each other.
Oh, they did. I didn't know that. But he punched someone out. He actually knocked someone out. I don't remember who it was. Who someone was picking. It was like he was standing up for it because someone was bullying someone backstage, and I don't remember who he knocked out. But he knocked someone out.
The year Mike Quinn, I think he cracked the top. When they had the Olympia in Los Angeles, he looked great.
He was 5th, right, or something like that.
Yeah, and he was so fat with 42 days to go.
Was he really? Oh, I didn't know that.
He looked like a WWF, like Jimmy Snooker in his later years. Or no, not even that. Like Bruno Sammartino when Bruno was getting heavy and still wrestling.
Yeah.
And in 42 days, I think he did 1,000 calories. You can ask him.
He probably starved himself. But that's back when he was like young and his skin was good and you
Yeah,
get away
yeah,
with stuff like that. Then he started trying to do that stuff when he made the comebacks, at a later age. And he actually made one really good comeback at the Night of Champions, if you remember. Wasn't he 5th?
One, yeah.
He was amazing. The
was
crowd
totally
went crazy
yeah.
for him.
He used supposed to Crazy Train.
Yeah, you're right.
Song.
His eyes looked like they were like demons in his head. Matter of fact, I competed the week before.
Probably amphetamine eyes. That's how he lost the 42 pounds.
He probably was on more than that. The week before, he guest posed at a show that I was helping a bunch of guys do, and at last minute I decided to jump in. I lost 18 pounds overnight with diuretics, and I won the whole show. He was the guest poser there, and I'm like, holy shit, Mike Quinn looks good. I'm like, Mike, what'd you do? He's like, oh, no, I'm back. I cleaned down, whatever, because, he's hooked on drugs or something like that.
Yeah.
And, or whatever. I don't know what he was doing. He was having some bad times. Because he suffers with bipolar also. And he came back, and I said, this guy's going to do good at Night of Champions, and he was fucking great. If he had a little bit more leg, he might have won. I mean, no one had a better upper body than he did.
Oh, no, absolutely 100% agree with you.
Yeah, but he didn't have the leg mass that Francois had, obviously, but he was really good. I mean, I thought if he kept going from that point on, he might have done something.
Yeah, what happened? Did he?
I
Was
don't
that
know.
his
He
last?
Self-destructed after that, probably.
Yeah.
He was his own worst. He'll admit it. He was his own worst enemy.
Well, he needed Dr. Phil probably to help him.
He needed he
Stay on
needed
track.
Franco Santoriello. They could have helped each other. Isn't it crazy how all these great talented guys really just never really realized their potential because they were hooked on drugs or mental illness or
You know what? I mentioned, and a lot of people text me about it. I mentioned Victor Terra as being better when he won the Teenage USA than and I asked you to ask JM for a photo.
Yeah, you did. I never asked that.
When Ernie Santiago won the USA, I think it was '83, and Victor Terra won the Teenage USA. I think he was either 17 or 18.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, Victor looked better.
Really? That's crazy.
And J.M. Mannion will tell you that. I bet. You know,
What happened to Victor? Didn't he like get arrested or something like that? And I think that's what I heard. Yeah.
he got in some trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was a Massachusetts type bodybuilder, and so was, of course, Mike Quinn. And look back at pictures of Mike when Mike was 19 or 18 years old. Holy smokes, he was like Arnold.
Well, Mike was living with...
Mike was as good, almost as good. He almost had his full blossomed development at 19 as he had when he was in later years.
Really?
Maybe he wasn't just using Winstrol. I don't know.
Mike was living with Fran Volpe, my friend Fran from Westchester for a while. Yeah. And the two of them were looking like ridiculously freaky. This is before my time. And people were actually comparing the two of them. And then Fran lost his mind too. You know, he had the trouble. And these guys were just... there was too many distractions. They needed to go to Oxygen Gym.
I thought you were going to say
that whole Westchester crew. The whole Westchester crew should have been in Oxygen.
They'd be all Mr. Olympias by now.
Right, they would. They need to be sequestered away from all the drugs and the girls and all the fucking nightclubs and all the craziness.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's the night. Those guys were into the nightclubs.
They were.
They would go and train, and you know they'd be getting ready for the USA, but they go to the clubs.
Yeah.
And stay up to what time?
Who knows? They probably didn't even come home. Yeah.
No.
And then you do drugs. I mean, they needed to be distracted. They needed to know distractions. That's really the truth of it. And who knows? Well, Chris, I think we're getting a little late here tonight. It's Sunday night. We always record these shows, and I want to say.
You have a quote of the week?
You know, I did have a quote. You know, I had a quote of the week, and I lost it. Can you believe it? I thought I copied it, but I didn't, evidently. I don't know what I did with it. Maybe I'll look for it. You know, I want to get you on this week. I didn't ask you. I'm going to formally ask you right on the show so I can put you on the spot. I want to get you on Guru Talk this week to talk about how Sean Roden won the Olympia.
Sure.
So we're going to do that. I know a lot of people have asked me that. They're like, you know what? We need Chris on Guru Talk because we want to know how Chris orchestrated the greatest, upset, one of the greatest upsets in bodybuilding, which is the defeat of Phil Heath by Sean Roden.
Well, I mean, it was the greatest upset in the context that no one had Sean in the top 6, really.
No,
they didn't. They didn't. They did not.
No, I don't even think the odds makers in Vegas would take the quote.
I remember the day I said, I think Sean's going to win. I sent you the picture. And you said, like, if he keeps that and just comes in a little tighter, I don't know if you said he could win, but it was just, you might not have explicitly said
he looked great,
he's going to win. But you said implicitly, like, okay, you know, he's going to be right there to win.
I was amazed at how great his waistline looked, you know, because he had been having that distension problem, and I didn't really know if it was from
Carl Lenore got him the
on LL37, right? All right, I found the quote of the week, which is an interesting quote. You know, it goes back to the whole, you know, law of attraction and what you think about and stuff like that.
No, this is like a done deal. Law of attraction. Yeah, I
if you believe that you must work harder in order to deserve the money that comes to you, then money cannot come to you unless you work hard. Financial success or any other kind of success does not require hard work. It does require alignment of thought. You simply cannot offer negative thoughts about things that you desire and then make up for it with action or hard work. When you learn to direct your own thoughts, you will discover the true leverage of energy alignment. And I think that's a great quote because, you know, I think a lot of us work hard and get good stuff, but it's because our thoughts are correct. You know, there's nothing wrong with working towards an end. But if you think that you always need to work so hard in order to achieve anything, you probably never achieve anything because who the hell wants to think that? Think about what you want and then work towards it. But don't think that, you know, you have to have this, like you have to overcome the Holocaust in order to make a good living in this world. or you don't, or you have to dig a trench, a million miles deep. It's not like that, Just think about what you want and just keep it in the back of your brain all the time, and it'll come to you. And you might have to do some work to do it but you'll want to do the work. I know that you probably feel this way about real estate, but when I do all the bodybuilding stuff that I do, I work hard in the sense that I'm always working, but it doesn't feel like work to me. I don't think I'm working hard. Other people tell me, "What are you working so hard for?" I'm like, I didn't even know I was working hard.
Yeah.
So
because you're a workaholic.
Okay, well, no, because I enjoy what I'm doing.
You're a workaholic. It's like when
if I had to go right,
you're drinking too much. I know I don't drink. They're an alcoholic.
If I had to go outside and build fences all day long, if I did it for 10 minutes, I would think it was too long. I'd be like, "Why am I working so hard? You've only been working for 10 minutes. Put the fence. Can you give us a couple hours?" Well, I don't really enjoy this. I don't want to build a fence, I want to watch it. I don't mind watching you guys build the fence, but I don't want to build a fence. So do what you love. That's what it comes down to. And don't put any kind of provisos on what you want. People say, "Okay, yeah, I want to make money, or I want to be a successful bodybuilder, but oh my God, it's going to be so hard. Oh, I got to put all this muscle on. How am I going to do it? And the food, and how am I going to afford it?" Yeah, you know what? All that thought just created so much negativity. You'll never achieve what you want, ever. Yeah. Just know it, do it. Don't put a time frame on it. Don't put a time stamp on it. Just go about your business, and I promise you, you will achieve what you're supposed to achieve. And that's really the take-home message there. And on that note, on that positive note, we're out of time until next week. Remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
Good night, everyone.